A lot. I don't know what it is, but in the last week, I have seen at least 4 different people talk about this. So we're going to read about this, all right? This is an article in Forbes. The Seattle-based battle... The Seattle-based battle between Amazon and Microsoft for dominance of the cloud services industry has been competitive for a long time. After all, Amazon CEO Andy Jassy helped create the cloud services business by launching Amazon Web Services, and Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella started and led Azure, AWS's biggest rival. This is just like filler. Okay, anyway. I'm not here to complain about the literature. I'm here to read the article. While Amazon has dominated the industry for more than a decade, AWS is growing far more slowly than Microsoft's Azure Cloud Infrastructure Unit. Okay. Who here thinks that Azure will get into first place in cloud demand by 2026? This is what this article says, 2026. If current trends continue, Azure could be the industry leader by 2026. Underlying Azure's rapid growth is the payoff from Microsoft's estimated $13 billion investment in OpenAI. Also, I should add, I have no insider information, okay? This is just me reading this this article. It's closed 57%. No insider information. And even if I had any insider information, you think I'd be stupid enough to come on live stream and share it? Like, come on. But I don't have it, all right? I'm just someone with an opinion and a YouTube channel. Okay. On Amazon's fourth quarter earnings call, Jassy said AWS offers the most expansive collections of compute instances with NVIDIA chips. Oh, wow, this poll is interesting. We're at 56% yes. We're going to keep it going. According to CNBC, he added AWS customers, including Airbnb and Snap, are using its homegrown AI processors. Microsoft says customers are using generative AI in their products. We now have 53,000 Azure AI customers, Nadella told analysts on the company's earnings call. CFO Amy Hood said 6 points of revenue growth in the Azure and Cloud Services division came from AI in the latest period, up from 3 points in their prior quarter, CNBC reported. Testers have questions whether Copilot is worth $30 per month per user. How so? The shortcomings with software, including Excel and PowerPoint, and its tendencies to make mistakes have given some testers pause. Okay, so they're talking about the Copilot, not GitHub Copilot, but Copilot launched into like the Office suite. Because they're talking about the $30. I think that's $30. I will say, Copilot in Word, I will write a lot of Word documents, like a lot. It's pretty nice. I'm biased, of course. Despite Microsoft's superior performance in cloud services and its faster revenue growth and higher profitability, Amazon stock has outperformed Microsoft and is forecast to rise faster in 2024. Although Microsoft's stock market capitalization of $3.08 trillion is nearly $1.3 trillion more than Amazon, I am a little surprised analysts expect a bigger gain in Amazon stock for 2024. Interesting. So far the intro is Azure has a bunch of AI customers. AWS stock is doing better. Well, according to analysts, it will do better. Azure could take over the cloud services lead from AWS by 2026. Man, that's only 2 years from now. 67% of you say yes, this is going to happen. However, in the fourth quarter of 2023, AWS was still the leader. AWS lost 2% points of market share to 31%, while Azure added 2% points to 24%. All right, I got to take a pause here. I love Azure, but that is closer than I ever expected it to see. 24% to 31%. Come on. That is definitely way closer than I ever expected Azure to be doing. Before examining the assumptions leading me to conclude Azure could topple AWS, it is worth emphasizing that the two businesses are far from identical. Azure is part of Microsoft's Intelligent Cloud segment. Intelligent Cloud offers cloud infrastructure services, application software, and other services. These include basic computing, storage, databases, and monitoring tools, commercial Office subscriptions, the commercial part of LinkedIn, Dynamics, and 365 enterprise software, according to CNBC. AWS primarily consists of computing tools. Its products include compute storage, database, analytics, network, mobile, developer tools, management tools, IoT, security, and enterprise applications, according to AWS. Okay. So remember last time when we did the video, on the cloud is a trap, and at the beginning it's talking about how Amazon.com is not profitable, but the way they report numbers, it seems like it does better because it's attached to AWS. Like the breakdown, like Amazon Inc. Performs well, but Amazon.com specifically, individually, not as well. It's like really low margins. Like, I think that's the interesting thing to consider when there is reporting, and when you do hear blanket statements, it's like, Microsoft is doing well or Amazon Inc. is doing well. Like, you have to also consider from like an investment point of view, you have to consider these things like individually on their own as much as possible. Microsoft does not break out Azure revenue in its financial reports. However, analysts estimate that in 2019, Azure half the size of AWS. However, analysts estimate that in 2019, Azure half the size of AWS. What does that sentence mean? Now it's about 3/4 the size of its top rival. Moreover, in the most recent quarter, AWS grew 13%, while Azure revenue increased by 30%. I estimate by 2026, Azure could generate more revenue than AWS based on the following assumptions. All right, here's the good stuff. Did you already talk about your promotion? I want to know. No. But add questions into the chat and we can kind of talk through them a little bit later. Here are the following assumptions. Azure 2023 revenue, $68.1 billion. 75% of AWS's $90.8 billion in 2023. Azure and AWS revenue growth rate assumptions, 30% and 13% respectively from 2023 to 2026. I assume the most recent growth rates would continue, which could underestimate Azure's revenue growth, since Loop Capital analyst Yoon Kim expects generative AI initiatives and new cloud deployments to accelerate Azure's revenue growth next fiscal year. 2026 Azure revenue $149.6 billion, exceeding AWS's estimated 2026 revenue by $18.6 billion, according to my model. Microsoft, which has been working on Gen AI for many years, has added graphics processing units to its data centers so that clients can run AI models such as GPT-4 in Azure. Jamin Ball, partner at investment firm Altimeter Capital, said some companies are considering Azure due to Microsoft's perceived lead due to its close relationship with OpenAI, noted CNBC. There's this thing happening called the Microsoft AI Tour. If there's one going on in your town, I would highly recommend you attend. They're free, but there are caps RSVPs, so you'll have to make sure you RSVP. But there's some sessions there that talk a little bit of like the full stack, the full AI stack, and it starts like from talking about the actual server infrastructure that powers all the AI stuff. It's fascinating. Like the scheduling technology that they use to optimize like GPU allotment and all that kind of stuff is so cool to look at. So freaking cool to look at. Microsoft AI Tour. I think they have stops coming up. I can't remember. Sao Paulo, I think. I can't remember the rest of the ones. But they talk about, I don't know if there's videos on this, but they talk about like the full AI stack starting from like the bare metal, and it's so freaking cool. It is so interesting. Anyway, AWS has been playing catch up when it comes to generative AI. AWS took months to come out with a model that could go up against GPT-4, according to CNBC. AWS offers other models, including one from Anthropic, which Amazon backed. Why Microsoft is growing faster and more profitable than Amazon. Microsoft is growing faster and earning more profit than Amazon, and that growth advantage is expected to continue in the current quarter. Here are the key numbers. Revenue growth, 4% point advantage to Microsoft, up 18% according to the company's Q2 earning releases versus Amazon's 14% according to its Q4 2023 news release. Net margins, 24.8 percentage point advantage to Microsoft, 31 versus Amazon's 6.2 according to the respective. Wow. Q1 2024 revenue growth forecast, 3.9 percentage point advantage to Microsoft, 14.4 Q1 growth forecast versus 10.5 for Amazon, according to CNBC. At a high level, Microsoft's faster growth and higher profitability can be explained by its relatively asset-light business model. After all, Amazon owns warehouses and a transportation network for an e-commerce business that ships goods all over the world. That is a great point. That is a really, really great point. While Microsoft operates data centers to support its software as a service business, the giant company is relatively free of physical assets and employed far fewer people at the end of 2023. 221,000 people versus 1.45 million for Amazon, according to the statistic. I guess I haven't really seen it because AWS technically is part of Amazon Inc. And then Amazon Inc. employees 1.5 million. Oh my goodness, that is a lot. Jeez. I don't know why I never thought about it that way. Despite faster growth, why Amazon stock will continue to outpace Microsoft stock. Despite faster growth, higher profitability, and Azure market share gains, Microsoft stock has lagged Amazon's. Specifically in 2023, Microsoft stock rose 57%, while Amazon enjoyed a 77% rise in its share price. The Amazon advantage has continued into 2024. As of February 13th, Amazon stock was up 10% compared to an 8% increase for Microsoft stock. Investors expect Amazon stock to get the edge in 2024. The 51 analysts who cover Microsoft set a median price target of $465 per share. According to CNN Business, representing a 12% increase, Amazon stock is expected to rise 90% to $205 a share. The median price target of 60 analysts who cover the business, noted CNN Business. If the software giant begins to report expectations beating revenue gains from its generative AI business in October 2023, analysts estimated Copilot could add $30 billion to the company's revenue. Perhaps analysts will raise their price target for the software giant. Okay. What does everyone think? After reading this article, kind of seeing the points and that were made, one thing I will say that kind of wasn't mentioned here is like AWS share is like so massive that at some point you're going to run out of space to continue to grow at a certain rate, right? It's not because you're not doing great. It's just like, how many more customers could you keep adding at that pace? That's kind of just an assumption to some point. It's just like a really generic assumption. But it wasn't mentioned here, and I think it's like as simple as a statement and opinion that it is the reality. Like, you're so massive, like you can't always continue to grow like at that rate. I think there's some fair points made here too, though.